Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be making Partridgeberry Muffins and joining me is Pam Parsons MHA for the district of Arbor Grace and Portagrave. Thank you, Pam, for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here again.
You know what? We love having guests on our show. Plus, you know, when it comes to food, it's the universal conversation, right? These partridgeberries were picked in Portagrave.
Yep, beautiful.
And we picked them last fall.
Yeah.
And right when everything was beautiful over there in the lighthouse. So, is there anything you'd like to share with us before we get started?
Well, very excited that you mentioned Portagrave. You know, of course, these locally homegrown wild berries, and we all know that they're as tart as they are. They're also sweet to eat. Hey?
Oh yeah,
lots of great
the right
things.
ingredients,
right? In Portagrave,
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful community. I certainly encourage everyone to get to Portagrave if they haven't made the trip. Anybody living outside of the region or our area, you know, of course, the famous boat lighting that we have there annually.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that Miss Joyce Morgan, of course, organizes every year along with all the harvesters down there. They participate and light up their beautiful boats. And of course, the harbour master, Darren Kennedy. It's a big team effort, and I encourage everybody to come by and certainly take in this spectacle, especially at Christmas time.
Oh yeah, beautiful. So Pam, before we get started making our Partridgeberry Muffins, I'd like to touch a little bit about your position as an MHA and to explain to our viewers, because we got a lot of viewers from all over the world and not everybody may not know about what that is.
Well, yeah, very exciting, and a big hello, of course, to everybody out there who, you know, who's certainly taking in Bonita's Kitchen. An MHA stands for the Member of the House of Assembly, and I am the provincial government representative here in our strong district of Portagrave, Arbor Grace, Portagrave. And of course, throughout Newfoundland and Labrador, we have 40 districts. Of course, we're one of 40. I like to say we're a very strong district. We have 15,000 constituents living here.
Wow, that's a lot. You know, and for us here at Bonita's Kitchen, we love having guests on, and having Pam here with us today is amazing. Pam was born and raised in Spaniards Bay, and this is our beautiful home as well. So what we'll do now, we'll get started with our Partridgeberry Muffins, and we'll talk a little bit as we go. So before we get started making these delicious muffins, I want to touch a little bit on the berries, because Partridgeberries is a very small berry, and it's juicy, and it's got to be picked in the right time of the year. Fall of the year is when it should be picked, because any time before that they're not ripe. One would get them confused with cranberries, but cranberries is so much bigger, but still picked over in Portagrave, because we pick partridgeberries over there and cranberries, and they're about the same time. So I'm going to keep these here for a little display, and then we're going to get started on our ingredients. So what we're going to start with first is putting our cup of butter or margarine into the bowl, and then we're going to start blending this together with 1 cup of white sugar. So what we're going to do now is Pam is going to mix the butter and the sugar together, and for those of you that got those fancy kitchen aids, you could use those. Yeah. But here at Bonita's Kitchen, we kind of go old school, and we try to make it difficult for people when they're making their muffins.
Well, this is therapeutic. I love to bake. You know, at home, you know, I actually went to pick some Newfoundland, of course, Spaniards Bay blueberries. Yeah. Actually came from, and I made them in the fall, some blueberry muffins. And it was lovely.
Well, so you just keep blending your butter and sugar together until it's creamed. Not yet.
You got to admit, it's good exercise.
It is, yeah. So while Pam is continuing on creaming up the butter and the sugar, I'm going to be separating 2 eggs from its shells, and it'll go into 1 cup of evaporated milk. Pam, anything else that you'd like to share with us about our district?
There's certainly lots of great things happening in our district. In Arbor Grace, Portagrave, I'm happy to say that we're getting a new school. The old Coley's Point Primary School is soon going to be replaced in Bay Roberts here.
That's well needed.
Something that's, you know, long overdue, as we know. And I mean, we have a population here, gratefully, you know, that's growing and expanding. So I'm happy to say that you know, the tender has been closed for this project, and we're just waiting on the final official awarding of the contract.
Nice.
And you know, if we get a good winter, we'll see physical work begin very soon.
And we've had pretty good winter so far, other than like you said, had a little bit of change in seasons there.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is continue with this, and I'll show you what else we will do with eggs.
All right.
I love having a guest here with me because I can't get Raymond to do this. We get many people say, get Raymond behind this camera on this side and to help.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do, after I check to see if there's no shells or anything in there, I'm going to pour it into the cup of milk. And then you're just going to mix that around. Also, the partridgeberries, it could be fresh or frozen. Of course, winter time, we all know it's frozen.
Yep.
So just take it out, not fully thawed. You don't want to thaw it too much because you don't want too much juice. You don't want to make your partridgeberries red. You just want to make them nice and tasty. I'm going to put about half a cup of flour into the cup, you know, give and take. And let that, well, mix that around so this will base the partridgeberries and they'll stop them from floating down into the bottom of your muffins when they're baking. They'll stay with the dough. So,
Neat tricks.
Pam,
Yeah.
what else?
Well,
Would you like to share with us?
partridgeberries, I think, are embedded in our souls here in Newfoundland and Labrador. I used to pick partridgeberries when I was young, when I was a little girl, but they ripen around the same time as the blueberries.
Yes.
Blueberries just slightly before.
They are, yeah.
And of course, growing up in Spaniards Bay, my grandmother Parsons, she was Emmy Barrett from back home. She was a lovely baker.
Yeah.
And so we'd often go and we'd pick berries, you know, for my mom, and the plan was to bring them to my grandmother as well. But of course, I'd get up there, myself and my friend, my childhood friend, Lori Lynn. We'd go up on the grassy path in Spaniards Bay, behind our homes where we grew up, and we'd be up there picking berries, and I'd get my interest, but then go to the blueberries. And not often did I make it home because I'd eat them.
You want to eat them, yeah.
I'd eat the blueberries.
That sounds like Raymond, that's for sure.
That's what happens.
Okay.
That's good.
So I think what we'll do next, Pam, is sift in the flour and the dry ingredients, which is 2 cups of flour, just less, probably like you said, half a cup or a quarter of a cup into your partridgeberries, 2 teaspoonfuls of baking powder and a half a teaspoonful of sea salt. So let's just sift all of this into our butter.
Yeah.
So we'll just add in the flour first, and then the 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoonful of sea salt. And the reason for sifting, people would say, well, what's the difference? Just toss it on in. It makes it like a cake batter.
It looks
and
like a cake batter.
it gives that little, it separates anything. And you do have lumps, you know, you will have lumps. So just sift it all in there. And then I'll show you what's next. So what we're going to do next, we're going to gradually pour. So
I'll keep stirring?
Yeah, we're going to gradually pour the milk and the egg. There's 2 eggs into the batter and a teaspoonful of vanilla.
Vanilla's nice.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. Okay, so we're going to pour some more the milk and the eggs in there, and it's coming along nice. We're going to leave the partridgeberries to the very last until we get this nice consistency looking batter, and then we're going to fold in the partridgeberries. We're having a great joke here because who needs a KitchenAid or a mixer when you got our beautiful hands that we're working so hard here. Look how nice this batter is starting to get. And this is homemade, guys. Like, this is not cake batter. This is right from scratch.
Yeah, beautiful.
Pam, you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, well, as I said, there's always, there are always things happening, and it's important, when I get an opportunity to inform members of the public and the constituents here exactly what we are doing. As we know, one of the main thoroughfares on the highway into our lovely district in the region is the Veterans Memorial Highway. And so I'm happy to say again, work is continuing. The Department of Transportation works. We're adding climbing lanes because, as you know, it's a right now there are currently no passing lanes in the highway.
So
and it is a 100-kilometer. Speed limit way. So those climbing lanes are happening. The construction will be continuing, as well as the addition of rubble strips.
Okay.
So if a driver is sleepy at night, and it's or they're on the road early in the morning, if they kind of veer to the side or even in the center,
that'll distract them.
It'll wake them up.
Oh my, that's wonderful.
So that's the goal. And of course, we always encourage everybody to drive safely.
Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful, Pam. I'm so glad that that work is getting done. We're all pretty grateful for that, because Veterans Memorial is our highway to get us onto the Trans-Canada Highway, and of course we all want to be safe.
Absolutely, and the people have made this clear. The concerns have been voiced, and I'm happy to say, our government is certainly working with the with the public, to do the best we can.
To do that, yeah. So what we're going to do next, while we're enjoying baking together, because this is amazing for me today, we're going to add in gradually the partridgeberries that is just a little bit coated in some flour, and Pam is just going to fold it into the batter at this point, because we're not going to mix this in there. We don't want it, but this is a delicious batter, and I know you're waiting to get
I'm gonna lick the spoon.
Okay, so let's just,
Here we go.
we'll get started. I'm just going to fold them in, put them in gradually. So you were also saying that we may end up getting some new paving as well.
Yeah. Well, the minister, Steve Crocker, who is also our neighbouring MHA for the District of Carbonear, Trinity Bay de Verde, recently announced millions of dollars actually for paving the 5-year road plan through the province. Because, Bonita, we actually have about 10,000 kilometres of road in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a lot, and you can imagine, the work and the time and the money, of course, that goes into it. But I'm happy to say that Spaniards Bay is in that plan and to get some paving done there.
Nice.
As well as we're waiting on a project for Harvey Street and Harbour Grace.
Yay.
And anybody who's taken that road recently over the past, number of years, it's certainly in
that it needs
long
work
overdue
done.
as well.
Just look how this batter looks. Isn't that nice?
It is beautiful.
Raymond? We're making your mouth drool here, aren't we?
I know. I'm waiting.
So that's pretty much all we need to do to make these delicious partridgeberry muffins. And they make 12. I'm using a silicone pan only because I've got tired of trying to get muffins endlessly out of the other ones. You could use the sleeve to put into your pan. I'm just going to oil it briefly, and I'm going to get Pam to tell us some more wonderful news. What we could be expecting in the spring, and
yeah, well, I tell you something very exciting. And it's going to be a first in our history here at the town of Bay Roberts, a neighboring town. Of course, a very proud municipality. Well, we're getting to host. We have secured the Newfoundland and Labrador 2020 Summer Games.
yay!
Yes, it's never happened here, in the history of our province, in Bay Roberts, the history of the town, of course.
Well, Bay Roberts is a beautiful, beautiful
It certainly
town.
is, and I have to give, throw out a bouquet, of course, to the team of volunteers, the dedication to recreation and healthy living, and Recreation Director Ian Flynn, who's a good friend of mine, put forth a strong application, of course, in partnership with the town of Bay Roberts. And, with some hard work and some lobbying and putting our case, I'm happy to say that we're going to be bringing the provincial games here to Bay Roberts.
Well, you know what? That's good, because now, having said that, we got Bonita's Kitchen here, videoing. You never know. Maybe I'll have a little venue set up that people can come and sample.
Well, it's certainly something to look forward to.
Right?
Right, yeah.
So what we're going to do now is start scooping our batter into our muffin pan. Okay, so we're just going to scoop our batter right into the muffin pans, and I did pre-grease in advance, but again, if you want to use sleeves inside your muffin pan, you can. And these bake actually on a 400 degrees of heat for 25 minutes or until golden brown, because everybody's oven varies, of course. So I'm saying, while we're scooping in the muffins, the batter into our pan, do you have any more things you'd like to share with us? Because this is exciting.
We've got a lot of great, as you know, and our viewers here locally would certainly know that craft breweries are certainly taking off, across our province. And, just recently we have what's called the Bacaloo Brewery.
I'm excited
in
about
Bay
that
Roberts.
Place.
Yeah, I've been there. I've sampled the product. 2 young guys, Julian and Mark are their names, and they've opened shop here in Bay Roberts, again in our region, and it's a homegrown product. So, and also just up the way in Clark's Beach, we have the Newfoundland Distillery.
And that distillery is making really good
They're getting
spirits.
world-renowned awards, and I'm happy to say again, they're using all local ingredients.
Yeah, there's all like juniper, what is it, like
the seaweed,
seaweed,
right? This is all Newfoundland, our homegrown product here.
Yeah.
And so again, lots of stuff. And just down the road in Harbour Grace, we're going to have a beer spot, another brewery open up in the old cathedral, the Catholic Cathedral.
Okay.
So that's actually, that project is going to get underway around the time the 2020 games are going to be happening.
Nice.
Here.
Well, we'll encourage anyone that's looking for some travel to Newfoundland at that time. That would be a beautiful time for you to book your flights. So we're having fun here today making these delicious muffins, and we're going to have fun eating them after, because I got some tea that I want to make. So we're going to hope that we can get Pam just to stick around that little bit longer. But I know you got some more wonderful news that I can help you here.
There we go. Okay, sure, yeah. Well, tourism as well is certainly one of our best and most valued industries in our province, Newfoundland and Labrador. And again, you know, this sounds like this is a great news show that we're doing here today.
That's okay, because everybody's interested in knowing us all really good tidbits of information that people will get the insight right now.
And I want to bring it back to Portagrave, of course, back, you know, to that community that we opened up the show.
Where we picked those beautiful partridgeberries.
Yeah, by the lighthouse.
By the lighthouse.
Well, myself and my colleague, Member of Parliament, our federal colleague, Ken MacDonald, and I, we made a joint announcement this past December, down at the boat lighting ceremony, actually.
Okay,
that, you know, there's an investment of just over $154,000 to be invested to make the Green Point lighting station, the famous Portagrave Lighthouse, a tourism destination, to develop that. And so that's, you know, those plans are underway. You know, that money is there, and residents are happy, local residents. It's something that they're very proud of. And you know what? We're all very proud of that. So we certainly invite people from across the province, our country, and internationally to certainly come to Portagrave. There's lots of things to see and do here.
We recently done a video, well, I'm saying recently, but last fall, of course, for picking cranberries, and we made a cranberry sauce, and it was from as well over there, and we promoted that area because the lighthouse, to go have a picnic or to just view all that.
It's absolutely beautiful. And
well,
if you come during the time of the recreational food fishery.
Exactly.
You know, that's a really popular time in our summer times and into the fall here in Newfoundland and Labrador. You know, where you can go on out and
we can almost even touch base on some places where you can even have food there.
Yeah, there you go. So lots to see and do. So certainly come on out and visit us in Harbour Grace, Portagrave, and all the lovely communities that we have here in our district.
Within Newfoundland. So what we're going to do next is put these delicious muffins in the oven on a 400-degree heat, and put your timer on for 25 minutes. And again, depending on your oven, if it's not done to your liking, you want a little bit longer, you just put it back in on the timer for another 5 minutes. So I'm going to do that. Luckily for us, we baked some in advance, and we're going to show you what they look like. Okay, so I'm just going to toss these into the oven, and I'm going to set the timer, and I'm going to show you what our already baked muffins look like. Okay, so lucky for us, we made in advance. We've been baking for a little bit here, Pam, you know. So what I'm going to do is, you could put what you like over your muffins, and most of the time here in Newfoundland, we just like butter. We put a little bit of butter over it, cut it, put it on, let it melt down through. I'm just going to do a little dusting of confectionery sugar just to make it pretty, because we're dealing with winter right now. And so it's bringing it up another notch instead of just with the plain Partridgeberry muffins. So I'm going to cut into one now, show you what it looks like inside. So I'm going to get Pam to cut into those delicious muffins.
Okay.
We'll put a little bit of butter on them and show you what it looks like on the inside. Because again, when you put the flour dusting over your partridgeberries, it keeps it within the muffin instead of falling all to the bottom, and you got it a little bit of.
It looks beautiful
everywhere.
Really
so
does,
and of course,
not going to find this in a box. Hey.
No, you're not. No, and for those of you that have watched Bonita's Kitchen before, or if you haven't accessed already, we do have partridgeberry jam on there already, and as well, you can have with your muffins.
As well.
So I think I'm going to have a little bit of partridgeberry jam on mine too, eh?
All
and
right.
we'll have a little taste, just let everybody know. I mean, what's better than a partridgeberry muffin? And I got the kettle boiling, so we know we can have a little drop of tea with that as well. Just going to have a little taste there.
I think I'm just going to try mine with the butter. All right.
so moist, and you can see the flavour of partridgeberries.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great.
Delicious. 2 thumbs up by Bonita's Kitchen. I'm excited to have that tea with our muffins. But before you go, Pam, are you interested in sticking around and having a cup of tea, finishing your muffin, and probably have a little tune, is what my husband calls it. Just have a little song to finish off this beautiful day.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
treats, of course,
we know that you're as well a musician. She sings quite often a lot of charity events.
I love it. Love, music, baking and music, both great for the soul.
Okay, so if you like to stick around, we're going to give you a little treat at the end of this Partridgeberry Muffin Bakery.
And thank you for having me here.
Yes,
great.
No problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pour us out a nice cup of tea, and before you get started with your singing, Pam, do you want to share a couple more things with us before we get started?
Well, it was certainly great to be here. It's always exciting, to be in my hometown where I grew up. Coming to you from Rocky Pond Road here and off New River Road in Spaniards Bay. And I just want to let constituents know, if you ever need my help, of course, I'm located at 1 Excel Place in Bay Roberts, my constituency office. And the telephone number is 786-1372. That's 786-1372. Please call if I can ever be of any assistance. And also, Bonita, I would love to have you visit the House of Assembly, so you can come in and meet the Speaker and the Premier. And I'd like to have you honored in a member statement that I'd like to write.
I would be honored to
Okay, well, let's plan that.
We're excited. We want to expand Bonita's Kitchen to as many people as we can. But now I'm going to introduce Pam and Raymond, my husband, and they're going to sing a little song, and I'm going to sip on my tea.
What it is, Pam mentioned a little earlier about, or Bonita mentioned it probably, I should say. We were in the conversation about fundraising and charities and stuff like that. Myself and Bonita try to do as many as possible when we get a chance. And of course, a couple of weeks ago, we were doing one here in Spaniards Bay, and Pam was also performing for the
Orange Lodge.
The Orange Lodge here in Spaniards Bay. And we were just chewing the fat, and Pam came up with a little old song that everybody pretty well know, or I hope you do. It's an oldie but a goodie. So we said, okay, let's try it out and see how this goes. So let's give it a run. It's the Kitchen Party. This magic moment, so different and so new, it's like any other. Until I met you and letting it happen. Oh, you took me by surprise, I knew that you felt it too.
Sweeter than wine, softer than a summer night. Everything I want, I
was fun.
Certainly is.
If you don't like that, you don't like cake or muffins.
or pizza.
So I hope all of you enjoyed this beautiful taping today for Partridgeberry Muffins, and our guests, Pam Parsons, thank you for coming and helping us put all this together and singing the song, and we are just so blessed. So don't forget, if you want to see more of traditional and non-traditional Newfoundland cooking, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and each time we post a new video, we'll send you a notification letting you know.
Cheers.
Also, don't forget to visit us on www.bonitaskitchen.com and our Facebook page. So from our kitchen to yours, thank you for joining us, and you have a wonderful day.
Cheers.
Cheers.